Hello everybody, and welcome back to PlayFrame and just Shapes of Beats again, because I know I beat the game already, but I have a good reason, because I have here sitting with me the developer of this game, Simon.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going very good. How's PAX treating you so far?
It's, yeah, I hate it and I like it at the same time.
I understand completely.
Yeah, it's super crowded, so we have to be everywhere at the same place, but, you know, it's a good problem to have. So.
That's fantastic. I'm very glad you're here, because I adore this game, as I've told you already, and I would love to ask you questions about it. So I was thinking that you and I can play on party mode, which hasn't shown up on this channel yet. Party mode is basically a mode in which you can just play songs non-stop. You can't lose, from what I can tell, and it's just a good way to enjoy tunes casually, which is great, because if I'm gonna be trying to actually ask questions, then I'm sure I'm gonna be playing even worse.
Yeah, same here.
How good are you at your game?
A little bit too good. I had to actually, that's interesting, I had to tone down the difficulty like by 6 times.
Really?
Because like at the first iteration of the game, like people said like, it's a cool game, but it's unplayable. I was like, oh, okay, so I had to add like lots and lots of stuff, warnings, and like to find that sweet spot where it's difficult, but like anybody can play and enjoy it.
That makes sense. I feel like that's something a lot of designers probably have to do in development.
Oh, yeah.
Just after 3 years making it and working on it, you become very, very good at your own game.
Oh yeah, I heard a guy from Enter the Gungeon said that the trick was to tell the coder you have to play with your left hand only with the controller upside down, and then that's the right difficulty. And I believe him. That's really believable.
That is very good advice. All right, well, let's go ahead and get this thing started, and I'll just start asking questions. I also asked Twitter if they had any questions for you as well, so I'll pepper some of those in as we go. But yeah, so I guess to start off, when did you start working on this?
I started like in 2013 or 14, something like that.
Okay.
I'm not in there.
Oh, there you are. Hey, you're yellow.
Sweet.
I like it.
How do I play this game? But yeah, it started up like, it was in a game jam. Basically, it's a cool story though, because at Berserk Studio, we used to make Flash game in the past for like 2008.
Yeah?
Like Congregate, Newground, you know.
Y'all have been around a lot longer than I thought.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm old. But yeah, so yeah, we used to make a lot of game in there, but then the Flash industry crashed after a while, you know, because the mobile was all the focus and everything.
Sure.
So we had to lay off like every employee of Berserk Studio to quit our office and everything, you know. So it was very the dark age of Berserk Studio. But then we just started back to square zero when we had like zero money and no game in production.
Wow.
And there was a game jam in Quebec City where I live. And I just said like, oh, I'm gonna try to go there, but do it alone and see what I can do. And I ended up making the first level Kronos with Dynamo Cannon.
Wow.
In there, like in 3 days.
That's impressive.
The reason why it's all shapes and that's it is because I cannot draw anything. Like I wish I was an artist, but nah, I'm not really good in that. So I wanted to make it very simple. And number 2, it's because I wanted the focus to be on the music. So I cannot have very heavy visual because I wanted people to just focus on what's happening like in the music form, you know. So
yeah,
and keep it bare minimum, so the music is always in the spotlight.
That makes sense.
So the reason why I picked Kronos is because I went to a GDC once and randomly went into a bar where there was like a show with Dynamo Cannon and several artists. And I just randomly bought the album. I didn't know the guy or anything, and I fell in love with the album.
He has some good albums.
Oh yeah, totally. So it was parallel processing.
Yes.
And I just said like I have to make a game out of that, and I started to see shapes and pattern and stuff like that. So yeah, fast forward to the game jam. I made the first song, Kronos. I made the first level, and then. Funny story, we had a little prototype and said like, oh, okay, that's fun. We sent it to Indie Megalooth, and the 3 days prototype made the selection. So I was like, whoops, I actually now have to make a real game, you know? Because this is only 3 days prototype, and now thousands of people will be playing that, you know?
Wow.
So, oh yeah, you got a crown.
Yay,
look at that, you're better than I. How dare you?
I didn't know there were crowns. I love it.
So yeah, go ahead.
Wow, it's amazing though. Like just a 3-day prototype, you got that first level done.
Yeah.
Did you have to go back and like polish it up afterwards, or were you like
I had to tone down the difficulty, and it was also mouse controlled as well.
Oh, wow.
So it was on PC and everything. And the reason why we switched to controllers and put multiplayer is just because we were supposed to show at PAX, and I said, well, there's gonna have a lot of people playing, so I have to put it multiplayer so more people play the game. And that's the only reason why I put multiplayer, because I always envisioned the game to be single player. You know?
I'm so glad you did, though. I mean, it's great in both versions, but like being able to play this with friends is a blast.
Yeah, a lot of people said, "Oh, it's a party game. It's a party game," and I was like, "I guess," but no, like it wasn't my vision. But since everybody was saying it's a party game, I was like, okay, I kind of shifted my my vision a little bit of the game, and it was for the better, though. I mean, in the end, I still got the vision of making a single-player experience with the story and everything, you know.
Yeah.
But I kept the you know, the multiplayer and the saving mechanic and everything. One funny thing about the saving mechanic, the rescue mechanic.
Yeah.
Is that I made that just because I had 2 weeks before PAX, so I was like, what should I do? What should I do? Save mechanic. So I just shoved that in there, and then like, okay, next, you know. And then people were playing this and playing it, and were like, oh, this is fantastic. You must have designed that like for a long time. I was like, no, I just like randomly put that on the screen. That's it, you know.
Game dev.
Yeah. Game dev. Yeah, it's more chaotic than you think.
It's true.
Yeah.
Man, this is fun.
Woohoo! I got a crown.
I was asking you before we started, like, if you were tired of these songs yet.
Oh, not at all.
I'm very
not
glad
at
of that.
all.
Like,
Not
I know as an
at all.
animator, like animating dialogue scenes, I will hear the same line 1,000 times. But I just assumed you'd be having to hear this nonstop for years.
Yeah, totally. Especially Kronos and the first boss. Yeah, we've been showcasing that on PAXs for the past 4 years. So yes, I saw that like way too many times. But yeah, like as I said earlier, the reason why I'm not tired of is because I see happy faces playing the game every time, you know. So I'm just playing the music, and I'm just super proud of it, you know.
Yeah,
So,
I love seeing the happy faces around that booth too. Like, I will often at a con like try to find where you folks are at and just walk by just to see everyone bobbing their head and having a good time, just because it's like, oh, it makes me feel good seeing everybody that happy. Oh, that's awesome. So walk me through the process. Like, how, say you're starting from scratch, you've got a song and you've got like maybe a rough idea of like what you want the level to sort of be like. What is the development process for a just Shapes and Beats level?
we actually made a nice article in Gamma Sutra about that.
Did
where
you?
we got,
Ooh.
yeah.
I got some reading to do.
Basically, I still have a folder filled with photos of random pattern that I see in my day-to-day life. So, for example, I'm going to the government office and making like a random paperwork or random errand, you know, and I see a sweet pattern on the floor or on the wall, and I'm like, hey, that's cool. I just take a picture of that. And most of the time, it just end up in a game, you know.
That's awesome.
So that's one of a start, but usually I listen to a lot of music when I go like at the gym or when I run or something like that, and then it just strikes, you know. It's just like, oh, I see a cavern here, or I see a space, I see a conflict between two entities. So I just start with that, and I force myself to try stuff. And then eventually I see what the level wants to go, where it wants to go, and yeah, I just kept going from there. Actually, when we're gonna see like a specific level that I can tell you how the process was made.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah. This one, I don't know. I heard the music and I just like the 1-2 punch and then explosion. That's exactly what I saw in my head. The little like woo 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 in all direction, the pew pew thing. I'm gonna be making a lot of sounds to explain what I'm doing.
That's okay.
Yeah, that's my process. Like, how do you make development? Well, it goes pew pew and then.
That's a good sound. So that leads me to another thing. The visuals of this, so you're a programmer.
Yep.
Is a lot of this animation like programmed work, or is this like hand done by somebody?
I'm a little bit of animator as well, but
cool.
but you know, I cannot draw anything. But if you give me like Lego blocks that I can play with, I'll be able to make like squishy things. So those things over there, that I animated that coming in your face and everything, you know.
That was really good.
So I just know my way to add shakes and add like squash effect, and I just plastered that all over the place, like always. Like when you stop with the player, it just bounces a little bit, you know, so it's kind of going back on its place. So that I can do, but it was hard for me to draw a triangle, you know.
Sure.
So this song in particular, for example, this is feel really Egyptian.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, Egypt is pyramid, triangle, snakes, or like the little wavy snakes over there. I will be miming it, but you know, those hieroglyph Egyptian character doing the dance, you know, that's what I saw. So I started with that, and then played with when I made the little snakes over there. I said like, oh, that's a cool effect, so I'm just gonna play with that. And usually what I try to do is keep only one enemy, and just try to exploit that enemy as much as I can in a single level, you know, because if you see one enemy, you present it to the player, he's gonna know how to avoid it, and then you have to exploit it to create a new situation. But the player will know how to avoid it, but it's still difficult to do it in a different form, you know?
Yeah.
So if he misses or if he get hits, it's his fault. But you know, yeah, I try to play with only one mechanic at a time.
Oh, that makes sense. How so like this boss here, the triangle, so you like you had the thought that like, okay, this sounds vaguely Egyptian.
Yeah.
So triangle shapes. But then like in the story that does sort of play into like, okay, these triangle shaped type things. Like, did you have the idea for like, I want to have a triangle shaped boss that fits this?
Yeah, well, actually, this boss was supposed to be completely in a completely different spot in the story, and I have like a very interesting thing to say. Like, let me know about the. I have to talk about the cavern. All right. It's a world that we ended up cutting from the entire game, so I have to talk about that. But yeah, usually I knew the ending. I knew the Till It's Over song. I knew that I wanted to finish with that.
Yeah.
I knew that the boss should come. I kind of construct the rest of the story around that. So I knew that I wanted to make like a big payoff at the end. My main inspiration for that was Super Metroid on the SNES. You know, when you finally get back and destroy that Mother Brain guy. The feeling when I was a kid was insane. It still inspired me to this day when you just like shoot at it. So yeah, I just wanted to recreate that, you know. So in order to make a good payoff, to say like, yeah, take that finally, you know, you have to hate the guy first. So you have to present the guy multiple times. You have to lose to the guy multiple times as well. So then I was like, okay, to make that big moment at the end, I have to present it here, and there. So how do I do that then? So I constructed there, you know. So instead of just jumping on ideas here and there, I was like, oh, I need this to happen. How can I create that, you know? So I'm kind of focused on making the story fit. And to go back to the pyramid thing, the pyramid is just like I don't know, I just felt like this could be a nice boss. Ouch, I got hit. It could be a nice boss, and it was supposed to be when you awaken the tree. You know, like I call it the tree force, the triangle force.
I like that name. I was trying to come up with a good name for it, and I never did. So that's perfect. Tree force.
It's actually one of our fans that told us that the tree force.
It's very good.
But yeah, it was supposed to be there, but we ended up cutting it. So we at the very on the last month of production, just before the deadline, we were like, okay, where should we put that boss instead? And try to fit it in the story, because we cut the entire world that it was supposed to be in.
Oh wow!
So yeah, again, right? Game development is chaotic. It's
it absolutely is.
A little bit less, not much planning going on. You know.
But you got through it, and you actually shipped a game, that's hard.
Yes. One of the hardest moments in the production of this game is we were almost maybe 2 months away of the final release. And I said like, okay, I need to create like 7 levels. So I challenged myself to make 1 level a day for a week.
Wow.
And it was the worst week of my entire life.
That's a lot of work.
It was insane because the entire day, and I like to share the story, even if it's a little bit of downer. I like to share it just to let people know that if you think that what you do suck, it's normal. It's part of the process.
Yes,
you just
it
have
is.
to work through it. So in that week, I woke up in the morning, started to make work at like 8 a.m. 6 hours later, I had nothing and everything sucked. Like I did not like at all what I was like, oh, I have to finish it. And like I took a break or something. And then 30 minutes later, I'm like, oh, I think I have something. So I started up and I'm like, okay, I think I have like this thing, for example. Like, oh, this is actually a bug. This, what we're seeing here, that was not what I was trying to do. It was like, hey, this is a cool effect. All right, I want to put that there instead, you know? And then I just like worked around it. But yeah, like 30 minutes later, it was like, oh, finally I have it. And then at 7 or 8 p.m., it was like, okay, I'm done. It's okay. Like I wasn't really proud of the level. I was like, oh, it feels okay. I presented it to the rest of the team. It was like, oh, it's awesome. And like, okay, they like it. But like, I did not feel any emotion anymore. Like I wasn't able to be proud of my work, you know.
Sure.
So finally I slept and I was like, oh, I finally made it. And then the next day, rinse and repeat. And the same process, like 6 hours of me thinking I've been sucking and I'm not gonna make it, but I finally did, you know. So
That's impressive though. 7 in a week.
oh yeah, that's insane. Because they were not bosses level. Because this boss, for example, took me 2 weeks to make.
Oof. Yeah, the bosses seem like they must have required a little bit more time.
Yeah, the worst one was a new game.
I believe that completely, though I do have to say I adore that freaking level. So that
thanks,
might be
man.
my favorite one.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it was hard, but yeah, that one was 2 months.
Wow.
For only one level, and
That's
I used to stream it, but then I stopped doing it a bit because it was asking me way too much juice.
Yeah.
This one has to be like one of my favorite because it's conveying story within the level. I really like this one.
I agree. No, like I did not expect buying this game to. Like I already knew that you were kind of taking advantage of the characters and with your shapes, like because I'd seen the boss levels at demos and stuff like that. I did not expect to have very, very strong feelings about some of these shapes by the end.
Oh man.
Well done on that front.
I'm so glad to hear that though, because at one point like when I was doing it, I was like, is it too kitsch? Like, will people actually like it, or like, is it too much? I don't know. Yeah, you always second guess yourself.
Oh, you absolutely do.
You know, but yeah, I ended up like
Oh no, Square friend, you're all right.
yeah.
We did. Okay, so. I guess I gotta ask some of these Twitter questions at some point because I keep on getting distracted. So,
Yeah, sure.
Silver Dragon, we'll start easy. Silver Dragon asked, "What's your favorite baked good?"
My what?
Your favorite baked good, like I don't know, like pies, cakes.
Oh, okay, but baked good. Does poutine count?
I think poutine counts. Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
So like, where's your favorite? So you live in is it Montreal or where?
In Quebec City.
Quebec City. Okay.
Yeah.
Where like what is your favorite poutine spot?
It's a place called Poutineville.
Poutineville, okay.
Yeah, Poutineville allows you to pick up your ingredients, so you make your own poutine. So it's a poutine where you are the hero, basically. So you're just like, okay, I want cheese curds, I want I don't know, blue cheese, I want Italian sausages, I want the chili steak, whatever, and you just build your own poutine, and at the end you're in heaven.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I have to. If you ever come to Quebec City or Montreal,
God, I'd love to. No, I'd love to do that sometime. I've only been to Montreal briefly, but it was a very good time. Oh, I miss poutine. I miss Canada.
We're hungry, right? You must be hungry now.
I'm also hungry now. Let me see if I can dodge while also pulling up a Twitter question. Let's see. I guess we already kind of touched on Toby's question. Like, what was the big inspiration for the game? What made you want to make it? It was the game jam. But like, what gave the? Was it just the song originally, and just like wanting to visualize the song itself that got you the idea in the first place?
Yeah, well, I always wanted to make a music game because I kind of I play piano since I'm like 8.
Oh, cool.
And I've I always wanted to make something around music, but I didn't know how to do it, and all of the other prototype really sucked. Oh, we both had the crown.
Whoa, I didn't know you could both get crowns.
Yep.
Yeah. Sweet.
Is it broken? Okay. Phew, phew. We could have edited though.
That's right. No, I can cover that up. Editing.
Yeah. Whoa.
Oh,
That was.
I love this little thing.
Yeah. But yeah.
This thing's dance is so good, by the way. Just like, just as an animator, I love this thing's dance.
Oh yeah. That was made by Emily though. Like Emily helped me a lot. Like all the visual, it's all Emily on the team.
I'm well done, Emily. That's
yeah, totally. Slow clap of respect, Emily. So yeah, we're talking about inspiration.
Yeah.
Well, it all started up with Danimal Cannon. You know, I just had to get it out of my chest, and I guess that the first spark was because we were picked by Indie Megaboot. So I have to be eternally thankful to them. You know.
Oh yeah.
It gave us the opportunity to just continue that because the initial plan was just to make a simple Flash game and try to sell that like on Congregate or whatever, just like to. I don't know. I didn't thought it was be that big, like picking up by Nintendo and be on console. And
Yeah.
No, not at all. I was actually working on another project, which was supposed to be like a console game and everything. But yeah, this happened. And
It sure did.
Yep, we followed it.
All right, I got one from Mario Ruggieri here asking, I've always wondered if there was a story behind getting the rights to songs like the Mortal Kombat theme, especially.
Oh
like,
my god, yeah. Okay, so prepare. It's gonna be a long story.
I want to hear this.
So, it started up because of a stupid inside joke I have with Chris Lavina, one of the enforcers at PAX, a good friend of mine.
Yeah.
And we were saying that if a game doesn't have Liu Kang in it, it's not a good game. So, like, Super Mario Brother, where the hell is Liu Kang? Right? 0 out of 5. So it was like stupid inside joke. And then I was streaming about a game, and one time I said to Chris, I was like, hey, don't watch today's stream, I have something for you. And I made a Mortal Kombat on stream in 4 hours.
That's so good.
And it's all there, you know, it's on YouTube, you can check it out. And I'm like crying because this is so stupid, you know. And I made that up, and it was, I don't know, it was a series of happy accidents for that. So we made that, and then we went to PAX's. We hidden that as a secret stage. But every time the Mortal Kombat song was popping up, we could see like a huge chunk of the crowd just like staring at the screen, like turning their heads, like what is happening? And then like the crowd kept bigger and bigger and bigger. So we're like, okay, we have to at least try to put the song in the game, you know?
Yes.
So I put Mike on it, and I went to do other stuff. And Mike just made his magic. So basically, Mike looked around who had the music, and since the music came from the movie and not from the game, it was Warner Brothers that had the license for the music. But the thing is, the movie came out in like '96, I believe, something like that.
Yeah, around there.
And we were in 2016 at the time, so it was 20 years later.
Oh.
Therefore, the license was out. It was overdue. Is that the word?
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So they had like a 20-year license, so they didn't own the license anymore. So it went back by default to the artist. The
Cool.
artist is The Immortal, which is like a small band that was formed only for the movie. So they made like 3 songs and that's it. So it came back to them. So then started a race to try to find those guys and tell like, hey, can we use a song? And we actually told them that they had the license because they didn't even know they had the license back, you know. So it's because of us. We're like, oh, yeah, we have that, all right. So then we were able to contact them and say like, can we use them? And then finally they said yes, and we paid for it. And we're like, is it really happening now? So like, I'm so glad to say that Josh SMBs is the first game ever that has the Mortal Kombat theme song, including any Mortal Kombat games ever. That's like
amazing.
an achievement in my life. Like, I cannot top that.
That is so good. All right, I have some more questions for you, and I want to keep asking. Are you good for doing another episode or two of this?
Yeah, of course.
Fantastic.
Of
Okay,
course.
y'all, thank you so much for watching. We're gonna be back with some more of this later. I'm gonna keep on asking Simon questions, and I hope you have enjoyed the tunes. So see y'all next time. Goodbye.
See you later.